Pick up your phone right now and look at the screen time. Most people see 4 hours, some see 6. A few see 8 and close the app immediately because they don't want to know. You already know it's too much. You've known for years. You've set limits, deleted apps, put the phone in another room, turned off notifications, tried everything, and you still end up back here, thumb moving before your brain even decided to move it. This isn't weakness. This is something that was built into you 3 million years ago, and it was never supposed to have an off button. To understand what's happening inside your brain, you have to go back to the savannah, not to study phones. Your ancestors didn't eat on a schedule. There were no meals, no grocery stores, no kitchens. Food existed somewhere in the environment, and the only way to find it was to keep looking, constantly, obsessively. Every rustle in the grass, every dark shape on the horizon, every smell on the wind was a signal that had to be checked. Could be prey, could be danger, could be nothing. But you checked every single time because the one time you didn't check was the time it mattered. Neuroscientists call this the seeking system. It's one of the oldest circuits in the mammalian brain, mapped in detail by neuroscientist Jaak Panksepp in the 1990s. It runs on dopamine, but not in the way most people think. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical. That's the myth. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It doesn't fire when you find the food. It fires when you think you might be about to find the food. It fires in the search. That distinction changes everything. In 1953, psychologist B.F. Skinner put a rat in a box with a lever. Every time the rat pressed the lever, it got a food pellet. The rat learned quickly. It pressed the lever when it was hungry, got its pellet, and moved on. Predictable reward produced predictable behavior. No obsession. Then Skinner changed one variable. He made the reward random. Sometimes the lever gave food, sometimes it didn't. Sometimes it gave nothing 3 times in a row, then twice in a row, then nothing again for 7 presses. The rat lost its mind. It pressed the lever compulsively, incessantly, ignoring everything else in the box. It pressed until its paws were raw. Skinner called this a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and it is, without any close competition, the most powerful behavioral control mechanism ever discovered. It works on every mammal tested. Rats, pigeons, monkeys, humans. The unpredictability doesn't reduce the behavior. It amplifies it past anything a reliable reward could produce. Your phone is a lever. Every time you pick it up, you might get something good. A message from someone you care about. Something funny. Something that makes you feel seen. Or nothing. The nothing is the point. The nothing is what keeps you coming back. Those who designed these systems know exactly what they built. In 2017, former Google design ethicist Tristan Harris testified before Congress and described the internal language used at major tech companies. The slot machine, he said, was the explicit design model. Pull to refresh, the gesture that reloads your feed, was deliberately modeled on a slot machine handle. The visual similarity isn't coincidence, it's the entire point. Sean Parker, the founding president of Facebook, said it plainly in a 2017 interview. They were building something that would consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. The question they asked themselves during development was, how do we give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while? A small dopamine hit every once in a while. That is the seeking system. That is the rat and the lever. That is the exact mechanism your ancestors used to survive on the savannah, repurposed and aimed directly at the oldest part of your brain. This is what happens to your brain when you see a notification. Your brain doesn't know what the notification contains. It could be important. It could be meaningless. That uncertainty is enough. Dopamine releases in anticipation. Your attention snaps toward the phone before you've consciously decided to look. Researchers at the University of California, Irvine, found that once your attention is pulled away from a task, it takes an average of 23 minutes to fully return to the same level of focus. 23 minutes. From a single notification you may not have even opened. And your brain didn't pull your attention because it's broken. It pulled your attention because for millions of years, ignoring an unexpected signal in your environment was how you died. Every unidentified sound in the dark was a potential predator. Every movement in the grass was a decision you couldn't afford to get wrong. The brain that survived was the brain that checked every time, without exception. You are not addicted to your phone. You are running the most successful survival software ever written in an environment it was never designed for. But there's another layer underneath the seeking system, one that's harder to talk about. Humans are a social species. That's not a metaphor. For the vast majority of human history, being excluded from your group was a death sentence. You couldn't hunt alone. You couldn't survive a winter alone. You couldn't raise children alone. Social rejection wasn't just painful, it was lethal. And so your brain evolved an alarm system specifically for social signals, a threat detection circuit wired directly into your survival instincts, watching constantly for signs of inclusion or exclusion, like or no like, reply or no reply. Your brain processes social rejection in the same neural regions as physical pain. This isn't poetry. Researchers at the University of Michigan scanned the brains of people who had just been through a breakup and showed them photos of their ex. The pain circuits that lit up were the same ones that activated activate when you burn your hand on a stove. Social pain and physical pain are not metaphors for each other. They are the same system. Every time you post something and check to see how it's doing, you are running a survival check. Is the group still with me? Am I still in? The notification that tells you someone responded is your brain receiving confirmation. You are still part of the tribe. You are still safe. The notification that doesn't come is your brain receiving nothing, and nothing is the worst possible answer. So you check again. There's a study that almost nobody talks about. In 2014, researchers at the University of Virginia and Harvard ran a simple experiment. They put participants alone in a room with nothing to do for 15 minutes and gave them one option. If they wanted, they could press a button and receive a mild electric shock. Most people chose the shock. They literally preferred physical pain to sitting alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. One participant shocked himself 190 times. Your brain is not built for stillness. It is built for stimulation. It is built to scan, to seek, to check, to respond. Boredom isn't just uncomfortable. To the ancient brain, boredom is dangerous. A still environment means no food, no signals, no information. A still environment means you've stopped surviving. Your phone solved boredom. That is why you will never put it down with willpower alone. You cannot out-willpower a 3 million-year-old survival program. The program always wins. So what does that leave you with? The same thing it always has. Not strength, not discipline, environment. Your ancestors didn't resist eating rotten food by having better self-control. They found better food. The hunter-gatherers who survived weren't the ones with the most willpower. They were the ones who built better systems around themselves, smarter camps, better tools, stronger tribes. The people who use their phones less aren't more disciplined than you. They've made it harder to reach the lever. The phone is in another room. The apps are deleted. The notifications are off. Not because they have more self-control, but because they stopped trusting themselves to win a fight against 3 million years of evolution and started changing the environment instead. Your seeking system isn't going anywhere. The variable reward loop isn't going anywhere. The social alarm system isn't going anywhere. They kept your ancestors alive across ice ages, famines, and predators that could run faster than anything you've ever seen. They're not your enemy. They're the reason you're here. But the world they were built for is gone. And the companies that understand this better than anyone are using that ancient wiring against you every hour of every day with tools your ancestors never had to defend against. You're not weak for losing that fight. You were never supposed to be fighting it in the first place.